Hello, this is Matt on the Moon Family Sedan channel. The price of XRP is down a fair bit at the time that I'm recording this, which, in case anyone is curious, happens to be, 6:17 p.m. Central Standard Time, Wednesday, June 14th. But it wasn't supposed to be down today, right? XRP price, it was supposed to be higher. I've seen a lot of people posit ideas along those lines. Well, not so fast. I'm going to share with you some perspective on that because I've seen somewhat similar situations in terms of, expectations on particular dates, and frequently it doesn't go the way that the retail speculators think or hope that it will. But still, we have headlines like the ones that you see on the screen, and they're just all over the place, which honestly kind of makes me laugh a little bit, which is why I just want to highlight several headlines just at the outset of the video. Take a look at this. From Coin Edition, XRP may soar to between $12 and $50 in early 2024, predicts trader. Here's one from the Crypto Basic. XRP in accumulation. Expert forecasts an ultimate 9,600% surge to $50. Now, look, by the way, just to be clear, I'm not saying that it's impossible for XRP to ever be $50. That doesn't sound crazy to me. But if you're talking about in the short term, I'll just say I'm skeptical, which I think is fair. But then you also get the negative headlines today, like this from News BTC. I'm sure they're very happy to go back to negative XRP headlines here. But here it is. XRP smothered in red despite massive whale accumulation, HINMAN docs release. Because again, the expectation apparently is that, look, with all these whales they've been purchasing in recent weeks, and the release of the HINMAN documents, this wasn't supposed to happen. Hold on. And then there's this headline from Forecast. XRP reverses gains after document release in SEC lawsuit versus Ripple. But before breaking this down, I do want to be clear, I do not have a financial background of any kind. I'm not offering financial advice, and you definitely should not buy or sell anything because of anything I say or write. I'm just an enthusiast who enjoys making YouTube videos about crypto-related topics, but just as a hobby and just for fun. Now, as I record this, XRP is at 47 cents, so it's down over 8% in the last 24 hours. Here's a 24-hour chart of XRP. And I'll just switch it over real quick to Bitcoin here. You can see visually it looks about the damn same. So Bitcoin is down a little over 3% in the last 24 hours. It's hovering at the time I'm recording this just above 25,000. It did dip a hair below that $25,000 level. XRP got as low as 46.5 cents. And then you've got the market cap of the asset class just over $1 trillion, and Bitcoin dominance at 47.08%. And people are increasingly becoming concerned as a result of this. Here's a crypto fear and greed index at 46 out of 100. Now, it doesn't update again for another 39 minutes because it's just every 24 hours. So I'll be curious to see what happens, but I guess that to some degree it would be lower based on the scare feelings of humans out there because price has gone down. And then, but I'll notice it's not, if you look at all the metrics, it's not all bad news. In fact, there's been, despite the recent sell action in XRP, actually, let me mention this first. The market's down today. Bitcoin almost always, even in the short term, will lead the crypto markets, and over a longer period of time, it always leads leads crypto markets, with no exception. I mean, unless you're talking about outlier incidents, but what I'm saying is there's not another coin that leads the direction of the market. It's always Bitcoin. Yes, you can find little outlier incidents. That's not what I'm talking about. So seeing Bitcoin down today would make it more likely that XRP would go down. And not that it's literally always the case, but I'm just saying it's not just an XRP thing, so breathe easy, folks. The market is moving in tandem here, and XRP is part of that market. But recently, it has been interesting to see a surge in accounts. So this chart in the middle of your screen here is a number of new accounts activated going back to the beginning of May through the end of yesterday, because that's the last complete day that we had, would be June 13th. And you can see that, go back to the beginning of May, it was pretty normal to have anywhere from, call it roughly 1,000 to maybe 1,100 new accounts per day, somewhere thereabout. But for most of the last week, it's been normal to see more call it 2,500 new accounts to maybe almost 3,000 new accounts on any given day. And that's because there's been intense anticipation and speculation leading up to all of this HINMAN stuff, right? All the HINMAN documents. Now, what did I say in the weeks leading up to this? In terms of potential price action for XRP as a result of any sort of HINMAN stuff happening here. Well, I said the only way that information within the HINMAN documents would cause the price of XRP to spike, which I admitted was possible, certainly. I wasn't denying that. But the only way that would happen is if there was something in there that we just couldn't have possibly fathomed that was so favorable for XRP. I mean, you're talking about some sort of smoking gun in there. But we didn't see that. We certainly did not see that. And so, historically what happens here in situations like this is, if there's a particular date where there's an expectation that something's going to happen, some sort of thing is going to occur, and then price spikes, it's almost never the case. Whatever that date is, that's the date that it dumps. That it's more likely historically. Let me give you an example. When Ripple, they started piloting on-demand liquidity, which was then called XRapid back in 2017. It was in the later part of 2017, just maybe a month or two before I jumped into crypto. And I've been in crypto since November 2017. So they're piloting. It wasn't the official production version, but it functionally worked, right? Now, come September of 2018, there were rumors that XRapid, again, now known as on-demand liquidity, XRapid was going to launch. And that was supposed to be a really big deal. And so as that rumor came out, the price of XRP began to rise. And if my timing's off, I apologize. I'm just going from memory here. I just know it was around that time period. And you could, if you want to see the actual data, just pull up a chart on TradingView or whatever platform you want to go to. But it's about right. So just call it, say, maybe beginning of September. And the price did start to go up. And it was watching this and watching this and watching this. And in this case, it ended up that the rumor was true. Now, I don't know if that's because something actually leaked, or if people just started a rumor, and sometimes when people start random ass rumors, eventually a little bit after that, it does become reality. I can't say. But either way, there was this rumor circulating heavily, and the price of XRP was going up. And so in the beginning of October of 2018, when the news did break at Ripple's Swell conference that, yes, they had just launched on-demand liquidity, the price of XRP ended up tanking. And I don't remember if it was literally that second, but the news broke, and then people just started selling. So here, when we're talking about what's happening with the HINMAN documents here, is it any surprise that it went down? Well, no. Usually when there's a date, humans keep acting the same again and again and again and again. So that's why I said the only way, and I admitted, it could have gone up. I didn't know. It could have gone up, but I think the only way that would have happened is if you had some sort of, incredible smoking gun there. And so it's the same thing with the expectations regarding the end of the SEC v. Ripple case. It's the same thing there. It's the same concept. So we don't know what the outcome of that one is going to be. Same as with the HINMAN stuff, we didn't know exactly what was going to be in there. So with the end of the SEC v. Ripple case, there's a question mark there. People have placed their bets, right? But if it's bad news, you can expect the price of XRP to go down when that news breaks. Probably pretty quickly. Even if the news breaks and people haven't had time to digest it, maybe the news breaks and people are stupid and it starts to go up even if it's bad news, but then they fairly quickly digest the news, hey, it actually is bad, and then they start panic selling. That could happen. Or we get good news, and then the price would go up. It's the same concept here. So the thing with XRapid, now known as on-demand liquidity, somewhat similar, except for there was when XRapid launched, it wasn't a question of is this good or is it bad. We already knew it would be good. And when there's a date where something's going to go live and then the price builds up going into it, it's a buy the rumor, sell the news type of situation. You can count on that, well over 9 out of 10 times from what I've seen anyway. And I say that admittedly anecdotally, but that's what it's appeared to me, having been in the space for over half a decade at this point. So the fact that it went down, to be perfectly honest with you, I didn't find terribly surprising, and I don't really think it's that bad. So there are some people that think that there are entities out there that are just trying to suppress the price, and there's some sort of ulterior motive. I've seen ideas like those bandied about. I don't really buy into it. To me, what I'm seeing here is behavior that is in line with what I would expect based on what I've observed for over half a decade. And if you just look at market psychology and how humans behave. So to me, it just frankly doesn't sound wacky. So if you're afraid or you think it's weird that the price of XRP is going down, I believe whatever makes sense to you, but all I can say is, to me, it's not bothering me in the least. And the range that we've been in, my gosh, ever since the last all-time high, it's been over half a decade. None of this is going to matter because either we go to zero or we hit a new all-time high at some point in the future. Everything in between, I just frankly, in the end, I won't care about. It's interesting because I have skin in the game, so yes, I like to follow it, but I'm saying ultimately, it's not going to matter. I also wanted to mention this. Take a look at this from the blockchain backer, and I don't want to go through the whole thread here, but it dates back to April 21st. I try to stay away from regurgitating technical analysis, and I do a pretty good job of staying away from that because that's not the purpose of this channel. And the Blockchain Backer does a fantastic job on Twitter and on his YouTube channel sharing his perspective here, so I don't want to do that. But I did want to mention this since I value his perspective on things. And so he's had this thread on Twitter dating back to April 21st, in which he was sharing what he thought might have made sense in terms of where the price of Bitcoin would go. And so here it is, the chart full screen. This is Bitcoin price, April 21st. I'm going to share with you this chart updated with the real price action, because he was expecting here, you can see where he's got this little leg where it goes down to point C here. That's where he was ultimately anticipating things would end up. And this is important for anybody in crypto, even if you don't hold Bitcoin, because Bitcoin does lead the market. It always has over the longer term. You can find short-term instances where like XRP led here or there, which is pretty rare, but you can find instances like that. But over the long term, for any of the big moves, especially sustained moves, it's always Bitcoin. 100% of the time, no exceptions ever in 14 years. Just saying. So if you go through to the bottom of this thread, he has this update. His latest update was just today, so a few hours ago, 3:35 p.m. Central Standard Time, because that's my time zone. And he goes, box entered, end of thread. And then he notes that he's going to be, what do you write here? We'll make new thread post when things get clear, so long as it holds and builds a bullish divergence. So it doesn't mean, I guess it doesn't mean necessarily anything's guaranteed, but when it comes to technical analysis and market conditions, that's always the case. But you can see the price of Bitcoin dipped into this area finally that he's been tracking since almost 2 months ago. So I'll just tell you this: the Blockchain Backer is not freaking out about the lower price action today. So I just thought I'd highlight that. I thought it was worth mentioning. If you want all of the technical analysis and reasons behind that, go to his channel, go to his Twitter. But I just thought it was worth at least mentioning here. But yeah, on a day like today, am I worried about any of this stuff? No, not in the least. Not in the least. Everything going to be just fine. And we are still, near the finish line here. Like the SEC v. Ripple case, it really is going to conclude in the very near future, even though we don't know when. Markets are expecting that. So even if we're seeing price down, after the HINMAN stuff, so two things. Not surprising to see price down after the HINMAN stuff, because there wasn't a smoking gun in there. That would have prevented the price doing what it did, because admittedly, here, I'll pull up a 7-day chart here, so that'll show you. There was this bump yesterday, and I didn't get to mention this yet because I wasn't talking about price yesterday at all. But yesterday, immediately after the HINMAN stuff broke, the price of XRP spiked from, call it, 52 cents up to a little over 56 cents. So it was short-lived, and it went back down. But there was that little bump, and then it was quickly taken back, right? So, and that's not surprising. There was no smoking gun in there, and people had already propped up the price, part of it on the HINMAN news. Because remember, when the judge made the ruling on HINMAN, how many times have I told you, and I noted it, showing you charts, hey, look, the price is going up. It's right after this news. Is this surprising? Same stuff after in March, the expert testimony stuff. Price started going up. So in both those instances, we get stuff that sounds positive. Price of XRP starts going up. Then there's no smoking gun. It goes back down. So that's one thing. And then the other thing is what I already mentioned. But again, just these are the two big things. It's the HINMAN stuff, no smoking gun, which I don't find that surprising. And then the other thing is Bitcoin's down. And XRP follows Bitcoin. So it doesn't matter. But so still, again, we're at the finish line. Let's wait and see what the hell happens in the SEC v. Ripple case. And as long as it's not bad news for XRP, if it's good news, expect blast off. That would be my expectation. That would be my guess, my unprofessional guess. And I think a lot of other people are anticipating the very same thing. But if we actually get bad news for XRP, if the market perceives whatever comes out as bad news, you could see the price go down there too. So it is what it is. Or if people don't know what to make with it, the price make of it. If it's kind of neutral news, the price could go down. If people aren't getting that, that endorphin hit that they're hoping for, it could be. It could be. We'll see here. Let me know what you think. I'm not a financial advisor. You should not buy or sell anything because of anything I say or write. That would be a very, very, very bad idea. Until next time, to the Moon Family Sedan.